In this video, I'm going to show you how I create my YouTube videos from start to finish. First going over how I research my topics and land on a video title, thumbnail, and then we're going to dive into the studio setting and how I actually record my videos using my camera, mic, lighting, and my screen record software. And finally, I'm going to show you my editing process as well as how I publish videos online. Let's dive in.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
So the first step to any YouTube video is determining what you want to talk about, what your YouTube video should be about. In my case, I'm a tutorial channel, so I usually stick to After Effects and Premiere Pro tutorials. So that being said, I usually research different topics and kind of go from there. A lot of my tutorials are from, personal experience. So typically if I'm working on a job with a client or a video project and I run into how to do a certain thing, I'll typically make a video on how to do that. But typically how I go about starting a video is I usually have a scratch sheet or kind of like a project list per se with a bunch of different ideas on it. So this is the document I have. It's just my content schedule, the date I'd like to make a video. Typically I try to make 2 videos a week, and then the working title for the YouTube video. And a lot of times this starts as an idea and then I refine the title from here. So for example, in this tutorial or in this video, I'm going to be showing how to save render presets inside After Effects. That will be the example for this video on how I'm going to create this video tutorial. And the video you're watching now is this video, how I create my YouTube videos from start to finish, tutorial niche. And then you'll notice down below, here are some ideas that I came up with, how to edit HDR video in Premiere Pro. This came from my comments section. A lot of people are asking about HDR video. I also want to make a speed ramping tutorial. I haven't done one in a while, and how to actually go about using speed ramps. I think that's a good target keyword to keep in mind. And then how to create smooth skin in Premiere Pro as well is a very highly searched for topic. Now you might be wondering, how do I know what's highly searched and what isn't, and what topics I go about pursuing? For this, I usually use this tool called Tubebuddy. Tubebuddy is a free extension for YouTube that you can install to research keyword topics. I always use this before I create any video on the platform. For example here, if we paste in how to save render presets in After Effects, Tubebuddy on the right-hand side displays a score based on search volume and competition. How many people are actually searching for it? So in this case, it's excellent. There's a lot of people searching for it. And competition, how many other videos are on YouTube talking about this? Is it saturated? And both are really good, so the overall score is 100 out of 100. Typically, if it's 100 out of 100, you have a good chance of gaining traction with that video. And as you can see, I actually did make a video a long time ago going over After Effects render presets. I think it's a little lengthy, and there's some updates to this that I do want to make. But I'll also watch and see what other people have done and see if I can add anything to that, whether it's from my personal experience or something I believe they didn't touch on. I think it's always important as a content creator to add your own flair to it, whether it's your personal opinion or another tip here and there, especially if you're a tutorial channel. When creating YouTube videos, there's 2 different categories I like to think about. There's the long form searchable videos that are pretty much evergreen. People can search in the title or what they're looking for, and this will always pop up. This is a good example of that type of video. 1 to 3 years down the line, people are always going to be searching for how to create render presets inside After Effects. So this is a really solid video to create and have over time that people can click on and watch and get engaged with my content. The second category that I don't really do that much on my channel is creating trendy, very in the moment type of videos. Say maybe Premiere Pro comes out with a new feature, I'll create a video going over the new features, but that video has a little short of a shelf life. Once the new features have come and gone and there's the new version of Premiere Pro, maybe that comes out a year later, that video is irrelevant. So those are the 2 types of videos you kind of want to look for, and my strategy for YouTube is to really create and focus on long form searchable content. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video, is creating another searchable content that can live up there for years and years to come. Now while I'm doing this, I also consider what should the thumbnail look like. And actually this is a good time to do this, is to see the competition and to come up with ideas to see what will stand out from the crowd. For example, this first video here, I really like how they have the loss list, how to change this. Because this is a pain point to a lot of After Effects users, is how do you change the output module from the default loss list? Because a lot of times we don't want to use loss lists, we want H.264, we want another codec, and how to create that custom codec. So I do like this idea. And if you've seen my thumbnails, typically I'll add a photo of myself pointing at something or doing something with my blue background. I think when creating thumbnails, which we'll get to later in this video, it's important to come up with a style. That way people, if they get, they know it's your thumbnail or your video, so, they can identify, oh, this is a John the Video Guy video, this is this person's video. So it's always important to come up with a style, I think. So in this case, like if we scroll down here, we can see this. Like I really like that thumbnail that I created a few years ago, the highest quality render settings. So probably something similar to that. The AE logo, me pointing to maybe the output module, I think would be beneficial. Maybe text that says change this. So those are the basic ideas that I think about before I dive into actually filming and creating the video. I will even go back in here and type in thumbnail and then my basic idea. So I'll add this in here so that way I know when I get to designing the thumbnail, that's the basic idea for this. If there's any other bullet points that I need, this is essentially my script. So I'll make bullet points and be like, all right, how to do this, this, and this, different steps in the tutorial. This is a pretty basic, easy tutorial. I don't think I need that many bullet points, but if I did, I would write them down here. All right, so now that the pre-production phase is done, we have an idea of the title, the thumbnail, it's gonna perform well from our research. The next step is to actually film it. So let's hop over to the studio and I'll show you a kind of a behind the scenes of the different equipment that I use to create my video tutorials. All right, we are in the studio. So here's a little behind the scenes of what my studio looks like. So this is a separate bedroom in my house that I film in. I dedicated like half of this room just for this type of filming set. So I can easily just come in here and film when I need to make videos for my channel, and everything's kind of set up and ready to go. But let's take a look at some of the equipment here. So for my lighting setup, I have these two soft boxes that put off pretty decent light. And then for my backlight, I have these little blue lights in the background that illuminate my wall and also on the floor behind me. There's one lighting up the back wall here. And then obviously we have to talk about the background. So, there's a lava lamp, R2-D2, and a spaceship, which is really cool. So for the main camera, I shoot on the Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark II X. So that's my main camera here. And then for video switching or to record my screen, as well as the input on my camera, I use the Blackmagic A10 Mini Pro right here. As you can see, there's the video switcher, and then I have a preview screen here, and then to my right would be the tutorial screen. So this is a separate display that just displays what I'm doing inside either Premiere Pro or After Effects, and then my notes are on my laptop here. And then for audio, I'm using the DJI mics, and this has a receiver that is plugged into the A10 Mini Pro here. So as you can see right here, this is going into the mic 1 input on the A10 Mini Pro, and then via USB, it's going into my laptop here. All right, so now let's dive in and see how I set up OBS to record my screen and the audio inputs. All right, so I just turned on OBS. I'm gonna slide this over so we can see a little bit better here. So when I have OBS open here, as you can see, I have the audio input added and then a screen capture added. And just to add these, I just use the plus button. I add in either audio input or video capture device. And the Blackmagic A10 Mini Pro reads as its own device. So for example, if I wanted to put myself on the screen, I can just add a video input device, choose Blackmagic Design, and there we go. You can start to see me. You can click OK. And you can see that I'm added to this screen here. But since the Blackmagic A10 Mini Pro is connected via USB-C, the MacBook Pro can read that connection. So it reads it as kind of like its own device. But that's how I do that. I'm gonna delete that for now. But essentially what I do is I record my screen. So say if I wanted to get rid of this and if I wanted to add in my screen, I would just click the plus button and then go to Mac OS Screen Capture. I can click OK. And then you have a few different options here depending on your external displays. So down below you can see display, so I can choose my external monitor or I can choose my, MacBook Pro display, and that'll display it here to record. But that's essentially how I set it up. I already have this set up, so I'm gonna go back to my TV screen and just slide this over. But just to show you, in the bottom right-hand corner, I just click Start Recording, and it just records the file for me. But let's get that over there so it doesn't look funny. All right, so now we can dive into the tutorial. So basically what I usually do is I run through the tutorial first, just as a dry run, make sure I have everything down. I'll usually do this ahead of time making sure I know where all the effects are, all the different steps. Let's dive into the tutorial. Start recording and start going through the tutorial for the After Effects render presets. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a custom After Effects preset inside Adobe After Effects. Let's dive in. All right, so now since I did the intro, I want to make sure I do the intro first, get that down, and then I usually go right into the tutorial. I know I have that graphic at the beginning that says 3, 2, 1, let's dive in. And then coming out of that, usually I'm on screen or I go right into the tutorial. So in this case, I'm probably going right into the tutorial here. So to change the setting, you can click on the hyperlink. What is it called? To change the setting, you can click on the blue link there. Or no, it's called...
One eternity later.
So to change this, click on the text next to Output Module, and then you can change your format options. So that's how to save render presets inside Adobe After Effects. If you have any questions, be sure to reach out in the comments section below. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next tutorial. All right, so now that we're at the end of the tutorial, I just want to make sure that I have everything. I have the intro, the meat of the tutorial, and the outro solid. If I messed up at any point, I might sometimes go back and redo that section. But typically, I usually do redos as I go through the tutorial. So you'll notice that I'll sometimes redo my line, or if I said something weird, I'll just redo it in the moment as I'm going through the tutorial. But now that we have finished here, we can stop recording. We'll stop recording the microphone, the camera, the screen recording, and let's head into the editing room. All right, so now we're in the editing room. So this is actually where I edit my videos. This is my desk, my office space. I should have said that earlier in this video, but this is really where I work most of days. And that studio, that's just kind of there to just film. It's not really where I work out of. But let's dive in and organize our project. So as you can see here, I have a root folder. I always like having a root folder on my desktop with the date that I want to publish the video and then a basic title to identify it. So in this case, it's Render Presets AE. That way I know it's Render Presets about After Effects. And then I have a drafts folder and a source files folder. Inside drafts, I'll export my videos into this folder here, as well as the caption files, anything used to upload to YouTube. And then inside source files, I have an audios folder. So in here is the audio recording for my DJI mic. Inside graphics, I have this PSD file of a basic thumbnail template with my text or the font I like to use. So if I want to use text, this is already here and pre-made in 1920 by 1080 for me to use. Inside project files, I do have a Premiere Pro project template. I just renamed it to be the same name as the root folder. And then inside video, I added in our screen recording from earlier, as well as our video clips. All right, so with Premiere Pro open, I'm just gonna start editing. So I'm gonna import my video first. So I'm gonna select my video clips and click and drag to the video bin. And then for the sequence name, I'm gonna rename it the same name as the root folder. So I'm just gonna click and hit Command C to copy the root folder name and paste it in here just to paste the name of it. So it matches the sequence. I'm gonna import my audio clip. So I'm just gonna click and drag that in. So with that in there, the first step, I'm just gonna click and drag out my video clip. I'm gonna click Keep Existing Settings because my sequence settings is in 1080, but this is a 4K clip, so that's why it's asking to change it. Now by default, I shoot in log and it auto-corrected it. So what I'm gonna do is actually undo that. So I'm gonna go over to my color workspace, go to settings, and then under project, I'm just gonna uncheck detect auto log footage. And then I already created a LUT or a preset for my color grade for my studio. I shoot in the same camera settings and the same look every time, so it's very easy to apply this. So I'm just gonna click and drag this preset over, and this is the final look already. Now one thing here, I am gonna add this to the source clip rather than the clip itself, so I'm gonna hit Command X to cut it and paste it into the source tab inside Effects Controls. That's an easy way to apply it, so no matter how many times I cut in my timeline, I can always come back here and make adjustments to this effect inside source, and it will apply an update to all these clips on my timeline. You'll also notice that indicated with the red underline under the effects box. But now that our video clip's in here, the next part is to add in our other sources. So I'm gonna add in our screen record. I'm just gonna add that in here just like this. I will go full screen by clicking on the tilde button just to kind of align this here. And lastly, we need our audio clip. So I'm gonna just click and drag our audio clip in here just like that. I'm gonna click and drag this to a new audio track. And then to synchronize everything, I'm just going to marquee select everything, right click and go to synchronize, and then click OK. This will synchronize the audio, and then I'm just going to trim everything to the beginning point. And for this, I don't need the onboard camera mic or even the screen record audio. So I'm going to marquee select everything and hit Command L to break the link or unlink all the audio clips from the video. I'm going to marquee select the audio and delete it. And then I'm just going to take this audio and move it up by holding down Option up arrow. And then I'm just going to ripple delete it to move it to the beginning of the timeline. And then this is what we have so far. So we have our screen record on video track 2 and our camera recording on video track 1. You can easily just enable and disable the clip in video track 2. I have a keyboard shortcut for 0 to enable and disable it. So I'm easily able to just make a cut and then just disable and enable as needed as I create my edits. Now, as I mentioned, I created a Premiere Pro template, and when doing that, I already set up my audio settings. So if we go and look at our audio track mixer, you'll notice that video track 1, or I should say audio track 1, already has a parametric equalizer, a dynamics, and a denoise effect. So really, if we play this back, the audio is good as is. It doesn't really need any adjustments. You can see we're peaking at -6 and everything is sounding good. All right, so the next step is just to trim out all the retakes, all the flubs, the mistakes, and just get a final edit put together. And that's just basic, easy editing, making cuts, deleting, ripple deleting, and just basic editing. So I'll be back with you guys shortly as I do this and knock this out.
2 seconds later.
All right, so I just finished my edit here, and as we can see from my Premiere Pro timeline, all the edits are made. I added in some B-roll. I added in my motion graphic at the beginning. And I just basically went through and cut out all my mistakes and went back and forth between my on-camera view and then my screen. So I exported this out already, but just to show you how I export videos, I just go up to File, Export Media. And then from the render settings, I already made a preset for my YouTube channel, but if you are starting from scratch, you can always go back down to adaptive high bitrate, and this will default to 1920 by 1080, 29 frames a second, but this will be dependent on how you shoot. And if we scroll down, the only other thing I really change is the profile. I changed that from main to high, and everything else looks pretty good. The bitrate, usually I leave it at around 10 or 8. I'm going to choose 8, but typically YouTube for this type of resolution is 8 megabits to 10 megabits. If you're interested, I will leave in the link below YouTube's recommended export settings, so be sure to check that out. Depending if you're shooting in a higher frame rate or a higher resolution, it will vary, the bitrate will vary. But once you're done, you just go up here, select where you want to save it, and click Save. I've already exported this out along with my captions. And just to show you, I'm not going to show you how to create captions from scratch in this video, where you would start in the transcript tab inside the text panel. So right here, if you don't see that, go up to Window Text. You can also change your workspace to text-based editing and then click Transcribe. This will transcribe your audio clips, but just to show you how it looks in the end, I already have this finalized sequence here. As you can see, it displays the transcript in paragraph form. And if you want to create captions, you just click the CC button. And then for YouTube, I usually click the drop down and choose this one right here and click Create Captions. But that's how I would create captions. And like I said, if you need to make adjustments, you can double click into this paragraph and make adjustments to the actual spoken language. One other thing I didn't mention while we were in the studio was thumbnails, and that will be the next thing that we go over. So typically I pose in front of the camera in different positions, and I grab still frames from Premiere Pro and use them inside Photoshop to design the thumbnail. So for example, if I wanted to save this frame and use it as a thumbnail for my video, I would just make sure my current time indicator is where I'd like it in the timeline, and then I'll click this Export Frame button. If you don't see this, you can always click on the plus button, and then just click and drag this down to your menu setting, or menu bar. You can click on this button, you can choose what format you want to save it, where it goes, and then click OK. Back in the Finder, you'll see that I grabbed a few different ones that I thought would work well, kind of like a confused, like how do I do this inside After Effects, and then like one where I'm pointing to the encoder or the output module setting. And then I took a screenshot and upscaled it from Adobe After Effects, so we're gonna use this bottom left section inside that thumbnail. So that'll be what we do next. So to create the thumbnail, I'm just gonna open up this PSD document and we'll get started. For thumbnails, I always try to make it, stand out, make sure that it kind of intrigues people to want to click on it. In this example here, I want to make sure that people are like, oh, how do you change this inside After Effects? Showing exactly what the video is going to be about. The worst thing that you could do is mislead your audience. When they click on a thumbnail, they don't know what it's about. So the thumbnail is very much the cover of your video. All right, so I have my template open. I'm going to hide my text layer for now. I'm going to start on my image. So I'm going to go back to the Finder and click and drag this into my Photoshop canvas. I'm going to hit return. The first thing I do is get rid of this table typically. And if you want to remove objects from your scene, it's pretty easy inside Adobe Photoshop. What you can do is just go up to your magnetic lasso tool and select part of the image that you don't want in your frame. So in this case, I'm just going to select this table, close it off, and then just reselect some parts of the mask with the marquee selection tool. Just make sure that whole table is selected here, and then you can click Generative Fill, and then just click Generate. With a blank field like that, this will remove the object. As you can see, it removed it. We have 3 different options here we can look at, kind of like this option here. So once I have that, what I'll usually do is take these 2 layers and merge them. So I'll select both of them and then click on Merge Layers. Then I'll just name this background, and then I'll just scale this up. So what I'm going to do is just hit Command T to bring up Free Transform, scale me up a little bit here. And the other thing I usually do with this image is I sharpen it. So I'm just going to click on this layer and go up to Filter, Sharpen, Smart Sharpen. As you can see, it sharpens it quite a bit there. I'm going to click OK. Especially since I'm taking still frames from my video clip, it's always a good idea to sharpen them. All right, so next let's add in the screenshot. So I'm going to click and drag this guy in here. We'll just scale this up quite a bit. All right, that looks good. What I'm going to do, and you'll notice that this is in front of me, and a lot of times in my videos, I like to put things behind me. And to do that, I usually separate the background from the foreground. I'll basically duplicate this layer and name it foreground. So I'm going to right click and duplicate it, name it FG for foreground. I'll put that above everything. And then from the quick actions button, I'm going to click remove background, and this will remove the background. All right, so now that we have this, the next part is to add on our After Effects logo. So to do that, I usually like using a past thumbnail. So I'm going to go back in time here and try to find a thumbnail that I created that uses the After Effects logo. Might be this one would be a good one. I'm going to double click on this to open up this file. I'm going to select the After Effects logo and then just click and drag it over to this other project inside Adobe Photoshop. For thumbnails specifically, you want to make sure that you leave enough room at the bottom right because that's where the timestamp's going to be. So I always typically like to leave the bottom right-hand corner blank, and then all the other areas are kind of utilized. So I'm going to create a bin called AE logo. I'm going to put this under me, kind of like that. That's looking pretty good. It's just a matter of fine-tuning this. And then for the text, what we can do is just create a new text layer and type in change this. And then from our character panel, we can change the leading. We can hit Command T to bring up Free Transform and then just kind of align this accordingly here. You can just make some fine-tune adjustments. One thing I usually like to do with text is add a drop shadow. So I'll right-click on the layer and go into our layer styles. I'll add in a drop shadow just so it pops from the background a little bit. Can even add maybe a 2-point stroke to it, or maybe a little thicker. Can maybe bring this up a little bit. Just a matter of seeing what works best here. A lot of thumbnail design is just sitting back and seeing, you almost have to take a break from it, walk away, grab something to drink, come back, look at it, see if it makes sense. I think initially this is fine. There's nothing wow about it. A lot of my other thumbnails have a lot of like sparks and elements to this. But at the same time, I don't want to overcomplicate this thumbnail too. It needs to be very clear what we're changing. And that's the biggest thing I'm looking at is my finger is far away from the match render settings. It's like this isn't big enough for some reason. So it's just we need to keep working on this, trying to make it as big and noticeable as possible here. Something more like this might be a little bit more clear. That way I'm pointing more at output module. And then maybe instead of a explanation point, maybe it's a ... So it's like almost like a secret or like something people don't know. So this is the updated one. I think this is better. Now for the heck of it, I'm going to add some glow and sparkles to this. I think it needs just a little bit something extra to it, but let's go find some assets. So typically I like going to Envato Elements. We'll go over to the graphics section. Really depends, like that's cool. I'm gonna choose backgrounds. This thing's pretty cool, the speedlight trail. We'll download this, see how this looks. That might add quite a bit to the background just to liven it up a little bit. So we'll just go back into Photoshop. I'm gonna click on the background layer and then click and drag this in and put it to the left side. Hit return and then change the blending mode to add. That way it kind of looks something like that. That looks good, but you'll notice the right side here kind of gets cut off. So what we can do is just add a mask to this, click on the mask, grab our brush tool by clicking B, and then just change the hardness down quite a bit, and then just brush this out. So now we have something that looks like that. All right, so I think we've spent enough time on this. I'm gonna save it and upload to YouTube. It's just a thumbnail. I know it's one of the most important things, but I think it's pretty much there. And now we can upload this to YouTube. So this is the publishing process. I'm gonna show you guys all my settings, what I add to the title, the description, and all the YouTube upload settings. So I'm gonna go navigate to my channel, and then I'm gonna click on the Create tab at the top right, click Upload Videos, select the files. So I'm gonna select my video, click Open, and then for the title, once again, I'm just gonna use the title I already landed on earlier. So I'm gonna copy this, how to save render presets, and paste it in that box. So what's nice about YouTube is you can set up a lot of templates. So this auto-populates already inside my Creator Studio. So I already have all my affiliate links, all of the basic information that I would like to add into my videos, typically inside my description box. And if there's a promoted affiliate link or a sponsor placement, it goes first. So that's there, but in this video there isn't, so I'm gonna delete that. And if I'm wearing my edit shirt, typically the first link is check out my t-shirt merch. If it's not, then I remove that, and then it just goes to Patreon. But the next part is about the video. So typically I copy straight from my Premiere Pro transcript, which is really recommended actually, because YouTube wants to make sure that your YouTube video matches the description box and everything's cohesive. So it just makes sense to just copy text directly from the transcript inside your Premiere Pro project. So I'll usually go back in here, I'll go to the beginning of the video, and then just basically copy the first section where I talk about what we're doing today. This is what I've been doing lately. It seems to work pretty good. That way I don't have to think that much about it. If there's any other keywords I want to add to the About section, I'll add them here. So the big keywords to keep in mind for this video, for me specifically, is After Effects, output module, or default output module, custom render presets, export settings, default render export settings. So this is all very much keyword heavy. So once I'm good with the About section, I'll move on down below. So chapters, if it's a YouTube video that has a lot of length to it, this is only 3 minutes, but say if it's a 10 to 15 minute video, or maybe a video like this, you'll see chapters linked down below. I'll add them. In this case, I'm not gonna add chapters because it's only 3 minutes. So if we scroll down here, we can continue. So the description box looks good. Doesn't have to be that complicated. Down here, this is where we change the thumbnail. So I'll click Upload Thumbnail, click Upload. For audience, typically I choose No, it's not made for kids. Paid promotion, so this is important if you're a monetized YouTube channel and you have affiliate links in your description box, you wanna make sure that you check that. If you don't promote anything, you don't have affiliate links, you don't have to check this. This is if there's monetization in this video in the box or some type of, placement, then you wanna check the box here. Altered content, so this is for like AI. There's nothing in this that's altered, so I usually check no. So the next important section is tags. So this is where I add in the tags like After Effects and basically the different categories for this video. So like when you're on the YouTube homepage and you see like sort by the different tags or categories, what are the different key topics or categories that you want your video to be associated with? So in this case, it would be like After Effects, video editing, render settings, those type of keywords. And I use Tubebuddy, so what we can do down below is it auto-populates tags for me. All I have to do is add this plus button, it adds tags for me based on, relevance and also keyword. So we can hop over to keyword. All right, so I just finished my tags, so this is kind of what I landed on. The first chunk here is auto-populated, and then I added a few specific ones to the tag section. But that's good for now. We can scroll down, keep going here. Video language, I'll change it to English. Now if we scroll down, all of this I keep on, comments I leave on, and same with how many viewers like the video. All right, so we can move on to the next tab. We can turn on monetization if you are in the YouTube partnership program. And an important note is only videos over 8 minutes can support mid-roll ads. So this video that you're watching now can support mid-roll ads, but this video specifically, since it's only 3 minutes, it doesn't support them. All right, so now we can click next, then add suitability. So if there's anything inappropriate, you would flag it before submitting it. But in my case, there's nothing that controversial in tutorial graphics, so we're just going to click submit rating or go to none of the above and submit rating. And then next is where you can add music licenses if you use Creator Music. I typically don't use Creator Music, but the next part I'm going to go to is add subtitles. So I'll click add, and I'll click upload file, click continue, and then upload our SRT file. And just to show you quickly, to export your captions in Premiere Pro, you would just go to the ellipses, export SRT file, and choose where to export it. That's how you export these files. So back into Chrome here, we can click done. And next you can tag products. If you have a store, such as my t-shirt merch, I'll add the timestamp in here. So I'll add my merch, I'll add timestamps for this. So this would be a good timestamp, so 152. That's a good placement for that item for the shop. Now we can click done, click save. Next we can add an end screen, so I can click add. Typically I like this template up here, the top left one, where it displays the subscribe button at the top left and then another video that they can watch. And typically I hand select these. So for this one specifically, I'll probably choose another export setting one, maybe talking about all the ways you can export out of After Effects. So I'll link that one in here. So I'll click on this pencil icon and search for my video. I'll select this one. This one goes over a lot of different ways to export your video. I'll click save. And then next you have cards. So the cards displayed throughout the video. Sometimes I add them. I haven't been adding any cards lately. I think it distracts the video a little bit too much, but if you need to add cards, you can add one there. Next we'll go to next. This is checked, so if you run into copyright strikes, they will appear here and you can dispute them. But in my case, there's no copyright issues found, so we can click next. And then this is where we can publish our video or schedule it. Typically I like to schedule it, so I'll click the drop down and I'll schedule this out. I'll schedule this for maybe the 23rd, and usually my videos come out at 9 a.m. So I'll just choose 9 a.m. here. This will change. It depends on the flow of how the channel is going and when I feel like tutorials should come out on the channel. Once I'm done, I'll click schedule. And that's how I publish a video on YouTube. So there you have it. That's my whole publishing process for YouTube videos. That's how I create YouTube videos on the channel. If you have any questions, leave them down below, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's been a long one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.